Eels are aquatic creatures that primarily live in freshwater environments such as ponds, lakes, rivers, rice fields, and canals. Catching eels requires experience, skill, and a deep understanding of their living habits. There are many methods for catching eels, each suited to specific terrains, timing, and available tools. One of the most common methods is using bamboo or plastic tubes. These tubes are sealed at one end, with the other end left open and fitted with a net or an internal core that allows the eel to crawl in, but prevents it from escaping. People usually bait the tube with strong-smelling attractants like insects, rotten fish, or honey to lure insects inside, and then place the tube in areas where eels are commonly found, typically in soft mud or along the edges of rice fields. Overnight, eels crawl into the tube to eat the bait and become trapped, making collection easy. In addition to using tubes, people also fish for eels using a traditional but highly effective method. The tools include a small fishing rod or a long fishing line, baited with fragrant bait, often insects or pieces of fish. Eel fishing usually takes place at night or in the early morning, when eels are most active. When an eel bites, the angler must pull strongly to secure the catch and prevent it from escaping into a burrow. Another method is hand-catching eels by digging into their burrows, as eels often hide in muddy holes near rice fields or canals. Locals carefully observe the mud or small holes on the banks, then gently insert their hand into the hole to locate the eel. Once the eel is touched, it must be gripped firmly and pulled out quickly to prevent it from slipping away. However, this method requires experience, as one may encounter water snakes or other aquatic creatures. Additionally, some people use electric currents to catch eels, but this method can harm the ecosystem and is not encouraged. The electric shock stuns the eels, causing them to rise to the surface of the mud, making them easier to catch. However, this technique may affect other creatures and reduce the quality of the eel meat. In conclusion, there are various eel catching methods, from hand digging and trapping to traditional fishing and even modern techniques like using electricity. However, traditional methods remain the most favored as they help preserve natural resources and ensure the highest quality eel meat. Catching eels from a boat is a specialized method typically used in deep water areas such as large rivers, river mouths, or swamps. Unlike eel fishing in ponds, lakes, or rice fields, boat-based eel fishing requires experience, the use of specialized tools, and an understanding of eel behavior. One of the most common techniques involves using eel traps made from bamboo or plastic tubes. These tubes, made of bamboo, wood, or plastic, are baited inside with attractive substances like worms, rotten fish, or insects. Fishermen place these tubes in areas with slow-moving water where eels are likely to hide. After a period of time, usually overnight or several hours, they pull the traps onto the boat to check and collect the catch. In addition, eel fishing is another widely used method among those fishing from boats. Long fishing lines with hooks and scented bait are used to lure eels from the bottom. This method is typically done at night when eels are most active. Fishermen must be patient, watch carefully, and master the timing of pulling the line to avoid the eel escaping. Some professional fishing boats use long lines with multiple hooks to increase their catch rate. Besides that, nets or drag nets are also used to catch eels from boats. These nets have small mesh sizes, capable of catching eels without injuring them. Fishermen lower the nets to the riverbed or shallow muddy water and then pull them up to harvest the eels. This method requires coordination among several people and precise net pulling techniques to ensure the eels do not escape. In some areas, low-voltage electricity is used to stimulate eels to leave their hiding places and rise to the water's surface, making them easier to catch. However, this method can harm the environment and other aquatic life, so it is not widely encouraged. Catching eels from boats is highly effective and allows people to utilize aquatic resources. However, to maintain the sustainability of these resources, fishermen should apply reasonable methods to avoid depleting them and harming the natural environment. After a successful catch, preserving and processing the eels is also crucial for maintaining product quality. Because eels can survive a long time out of water if humidity is adequate, Fishermen often keep them in wooden containers or nets with water to keep them alive. If long-term storage isn't possible, some fishing boats use ice to keep the eels cool and maintain freshness. However, care must be taken to avoid direct contact with ice, as this can cause the meat to become mushy, affecting its quality. During the catching process, fishermen also sort the eels by size and quality. Large, healthy eels usually have higher economic value and are prioritized for sale to restaurants or export markets. Smaller or injured eels may be processed on-site or sold at a lower price. If the catch is large, some boats may be equipped with special storage compartments to keep the eels alive longer during extended trips. When returning to shore, eels are distributed through various consumption channels, such as seafood markets, restaurants, or processing facilities. Fresh eels have a higher value, as they can be used to prepare delicious dishes such as stewed eel with banana, stir-fried eel with lemongrass and chili, or eel soup. For eels that are no longer alive or of lower quality, people may dry them, ferment them into eel paste, or process them into packaged products to increase commercial value. Although eel fishing from boats brings significant economic benefits, overexploitation can negatively impact the ecosystem. Therefore, some areas have issued regulations on the allowable size of eels to be caught, and restrict harmful methods such as using electricity or chemicals. People are also gradually shifting toward more environmentally friendly fishing practices to protect resources in the long term. In summary, eel fishing from boats not only requires skill and patience, but also knowledge of preservation techniques and sustainable harvesting. When done properly, this can be a profession that provides a stable income for locals while supplying a nutritious food source to the market. Beyond the challenges of catching and preserving, fishermen must also deal with many natural and environmental factors. Weather is a crucial factor that directly affects fishing efficiency. On cold or stormy days, eels tend to be less active, making it harder to fish or set traps. Conversely, during the rainy season or when water levels rise, eels become more active, which helps increase the harvest yield. Thus, experience in observing the weather and understanding the eel's life cycle is very important for fishermen. In addition to weather, environmental factors such as water pollution, changes in water flow, and the decline of aquatic resources also significantly affect eel fishing from boats. The increase in industrial and agricultural activities, use of chemicals, or direct wastewater discharge into rivers reduces the quality of the eel's habitat. This not only lowers the fishing yield, but also affects the quality of the eel meat, making consumption and export more difficult. As a result, many fishermen today are adopting protective fishing models, only harvesting seasonally and using responsible methods to protect long-term resources. Furthermore, the trend of applying technology in eel fishing from boats is also increasing. Some modern fishing boats are equipped with GPS systems to precisely locate areas with high eel density, saving time and improving fishing efficiency. Automatic eel traps have also been improved to reduce labor and increase the sustainability of catches. Some purchasing facilities have even invested in cold chain supply systems to ensure the freshness of eels during transportation. With the development of the eel fishing industry, building brands and expanding consumption markets have become increasingly important. In the past, eels were mainly consumed domestically, but now the demand for export to international markets such as Japan, South Korea, and Europe is rising. To meet export standards, eels must be caught, preserved, and processed according to strict procedures to ensure quality and food safety. This has encouraged fishermen to improve preservation techniques, invest in processing technology, and collaborate with businesses to create high-quality eel brands. In addition to technological and market-based measures, human factors also play a crucial role in eel fishing on boats. This profession not only requires endurance and patience, but also demands practical experience and skills from the fishers. Skilled workers can often detect the presence of eels through the color of the water, the current, or the riverbed terrain. They also know the peak times of eel activity to choose the most effective fishing methods. These experiences are passed down from generation to generation, helping sustain and develop eel fishing in many areas. Moreover, working on eel fishing boats comes with many challenges and risks. Fishers must live and work on the water for extended periods, enduring harsh weather and limited living conditions. These trips can last from several days to several weeks, requiring close coordination among crew members to ensure smooth operations. Additionally, river navigation involves numerous risks, such as boats hitting underwater obstacles, workplace accidents, or capsizing due to large waves. Therefore, each trip must be carefully prepared with safety equipment, food supplies, and emergency response plans. Another important aspect is the shift in eel consumption trends. In the past, eels were mostly consumed fresh or processed manually. But now there is growing demand for ready-to-eat eel products. Many production facilities have invested in modern processing technology to create packaged eel, seasonal products, or ready-to-eat dishes for restaurants and supermarkets. This helps expand the consumer market and increases the economic value of the eel fishing industry. Despite the challenges, eel fishing still holds strong development potential, especially when issues like resource protection, overfishing, and unsustainable fishing practices are addressed. To tackle these problems, many areas have implemented projects to protect eel habitats, such as banning fishing during spawning seasons, restricting the use of electric or chemical methods, and encouraging communities to adopt eel farming models combined with responsible harvesting. In conclusion, eel fishing on boats is a profession with great development potential, but also full of challenges. The combination of traditional knowledge, modern technology, and natural resource protection measures will help this profession thrive sustainably in the future. Achieving this requires cooperation between local communities, businesses, regulatory agencies, and the broader public to promote an eel fishing industry that is both economically beneficial and environmentally responsible, ensuring its long-term sustainability.